just Amarillo and Chinook.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Love me some.
So just say that again real quick. Love me.
I love me some Amarillo and some Chinook.
Ooh, that's tasty.
Mm.
Mm-mm-mm. I didn't think of a good introduction of like, welcome,
Right.
be jolly, and this is bixi.beer,
Yeah.
or
All those guys have some kind of like crazy thing they do in the beginning.
I haven't figured it. What is it like?
I got it. It's easy. It's we're just gonna rip off Britney Spears, and it's gonna be Bixi bitch.
It's like, hi, I'm Eymard Freire. Welcome. In the news tonight, a boy had a beer for the first time, and he said it was better than Disneyland.
There you go.
What's up, Trevor? What's going on?
Not much. Actually, no, that's not true. Everything, everything's going on all the time.
We're gonna start with some introductions here because I don't think people know who we are. I mean,
That's okay.
This is my first good attempt. I had a bad attempt to shoot a podcast.
Yeah.
But this is the first good one. So,
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, people don't know who we are. It's because we hide in doors all day, and when we go outside during the day, the sun burns our eyes because we are mole people of the deep, dark breweries in Chicago, Illinois. So yeah, I'm Trevor Rose-Hamblin, head brewer of Old Irving Brewing Company, 4419 West Montrose, Chicago, Illinois. We just celebrated our 2-year anniversary.
That's fantastic. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. We are currently in-house, and then we also have some distribution through our lovely distributor, Louis Glenn's Beers. And we are on draft only. We did just buy a canning line, so we are going to be canning as well.
Oh, that's fantastic. I know that you converted your two
two-head bottle filler, yeah. So we converted that, and we're able to actually fill cans off of it very low, very slow, which is great in something like barbecue or roasting a chicken. Not so good in beer. It takes a really long time to can those beers. I fill up my little cooler in the front, and then it's gone like 2 days later. So that's how that goes.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's fun.
What, a little bit of background. I know a little bit of background.
Sure.
Trevor was kind enough to let me use his pilot system 2 years ago, basically, give it a take. Yeah. To brew a beer for the Beer and Barbecue Fest.
Yeah, the Old Irving Beer and Barbecue Festival.
That was fun.
It's a great event every year. It's one of my favorites.
I attempt to keg the beers that I brewed here. I kegged from a bucket into a 6th barrel.
Yes, you did. I've never seen a Sankey being taken apart like that before or used like that. I was like, he's disassembled so many things in my brewery. I don't even know what's what anymore. And then put it back because he's a very smart guy and very courteous.
Well, and then what happened though is that beer oxidized overnight because there was so much oxygen in that keg by taking it apart and splitting the beer. Yep. And I tried to carbonate the beer by shaking all the CO2 and dissolve it. Yeah. Just
making sure all that oxygen is touching as much surface area as possible of your beer.
The beer tastes so yes.
We have ways now in our brewery. I think we were probably maybe a little ignorant at the time to be able to purge even like disassembled regular kegs, Sankey kegs, or soda kegs, and purging them out. Getting less oxygen. Still gonna get some. It's not a perfect system, but it works.
How long ago did you brew this beer? This is the Oktoberfest.
Yeah, Oktoberfest. Yeah, we brewed that. I think end of summer. So,
pretty good.
Yeah.
Holding up.
Yeah, and I mean it's almost done. I mean we sold it a lot of it very fast. Our friends at Lucky Door put it on tap. It was only them that had it, and us. And I remember Andreas, my assistant brewer, looking at me when I said, I think I'm going to distribute half of this out to distribution. He said, Bud, it's a bad idea. I think we're going to sell a lot here. And we did. He was totally right. On our 2-year anniversary, our Hoptoberversary that we have every year, we have like a 3-day festival, Oktoberfest festival. And I think we went through like 7 or 8 barrels Oktoberfest in those. He was right.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
I was going to say, forgot what I was going to say. No, your background.
Oh, my background. Yeah, so my background was in cooking, actually. I've been cooking in kitchens since I was 14 years old. Started as the very, very bottom at a place called Cosmic Garden in Ypsilanti, Michigan, where I was making like hummus and like hippie food. And then
what's hippie food?
Like vegan, veggie friendly stuff. I mean, I love that kind of stuff. I try to eat healthy and well and like that. But it was just these guys were actually literally hippies. I mean, me and this punk rock kid used to throw a little ramekins of ranch at the shed outside when they would all go outside to smoke weed. Yeah. So came from there. And then throughout the years was just kind of a junkie for the adrenaline. That comes from like working a line where I'd work like pasta station at like a corporate place, like where I'd do like 700 covers in a night and everything touched my station. So eventually getting tired out and getting away from it for a little while, coming back and then being like, all right, if I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna go to Chicago. I'm gonna go to like where all the best food is, and I'm gonna work for a great chef. That's my number one goal. End goal: want to open my own restaurant. So came out here about a decade ago. Went to culinary school just like I promised myself. Finished with an associate's degree. Woo woo. And then started working in restaurants. Started at Moto Restaurant, which received a Michelin star right before it closed. And Ing Restaurant, its sister. And then I've done a lot of other kind of work where it had me kind of touring the country, cooking and getting to meet chefs from all over the place. I'm actually hanging out with a chef this weekend named Andoni Luis Aduriz of Mugaritz in Spain, who's in the top 10 food and wine restaurants pretty much every single year. He's got a 2-star Michelin restaurant out there, and did a collaboration deal with him before, so I'm doing a beer for an event this weekend with him.
That's awesome.
So it's a lot of fun. So I try to, and now eventually I was supposed to open this with a buddy of mine who had passed away. And
sorry to hear that.
Yeah, and then we decided to, me and Jeff Linnemeyer, my business partner, we decided to kind of keep the business going, and we teamed up with a couple other guys that we knew, and got the place opened. So we, the rest is history, and obviously there's growing pains and all that fun stuff for that, which I'm guessing we're touching on today.
Tell me about it. Tell me about it.
I'm sure. Yeah, it happens. Well, and
your beer. I remember you told me that you had you went through an apprenticeship program overseas.
Yeah, it was like a self-made apprenticeship program. So when I was with Moto, we were on a show called Brew Dogs, which is essentially the two dudes.
Yeah, the Brew Dogs.
Yeah. So those two dudes that opened Brew Dog, Martin and James, they're the most amazing people. I came to Chicago to shoot the Chicago episode. I got to hang out with like Josh Deeth of Revolution. I got to kind of rub elbows with a lot of the beer community before I was even, so to speak. And so afterwards, like I became really good friends with the executive producer, Jared Cotton. And later on, we were just chatting online, just catching up. And he was just like, so going on? I was like, I got to get the hell out of Chicago. I got to go somewhere and just brew beer for a while, because Eymard, my boss at the time, he's keeping me busy. And I think if I can get away and go brew somewhere, I'll be able to focus a little bit better. He's like, well, I know a couple guys in Scotland that'll take you. Shout out to Scotland for 3 months. Met an amazing dude named Nick Ziegler.
You're listening to this.
What's up, Nick?
Waving my hands up.
Yeah. We are raising the roof, sir. And he was awesome. He's got like 4 master's degrees, one in brewing and distilling, one in chemistry, like one in biology. The guy's a freaking he was just like, I would ask him a question like, oh, tell me about alpha and beta amylase, and he would just like talk for 2 hours. And I would my Moleskines I had 4 Moleskines, little books, were just full of information. So I learned a ton from him, and he really made that trip worthwhile. And then obviously I mostly cleaned because it's brewing.
Yeah.
So I was mostly scrubbing grates and all that good stuff. And having Franz, who is the head brewer at Brewdog in Scotland, this dude told me that I would never meet the minimum requirements of cleanliness under a German. So cleaned it again. And then then came back and place up. But I was also lucky. There's some dudes opened their doors to me here in the city and just let me come in and get down and dirty. Bjorn Johnson probably taught me a ton.
Goose, right?
Yeah. He's a good friend of mine, and he was at Flossmoor Station at the time. It was him, Bill.
You know that I was at Flossmoor Station.
Oh, were you really? I didn't know that.
I was the head brewer for a year there. Yeah. No.
I worked with Bjorn, Bill, and Quinn.
Yeah, that's how I know Bjorn.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Same. So that we come from similar places.
Wait, same as far as you were also at Flossmoor?
Yeah. I apprenticed basically. I worked for free. Yeah. So I would work at Moto, I'm not even kidding you. As the general manager, I was working until 3 or 4 in the morning. I would wake up at 7, and I would head out to Flossmoor, and I would brew with those guys and do all the grunt work and just to learn. And then I would come back at the end of the day.
Well, shout out to my assistant at the time, who is now the head brewer, Ryan Chaya.
Nice. That's awesome.
Like this video, please, and share it with your people because we're talking about you.
Something bad might happen to you. I'm just kidding. Yeah. I'm sorry. That wasn't a threat. That was not a recorded threat.
No, I'm not gonna. That's awesome. 2 years and first 6 months. We're in. Well, at bixi, we are 3 months, give it or take.
Yeah, I was gonna say, man. Yeah, you got to be like going through some growing pains and some fun stuff right now. I'm sure.
Well, we're done talking about you. We're talking about me now.
I don't know. I like to flip things up. I like to change things up. Like, now I'm the interviewer and you're the interviewee.
Wow. Mind blown.
I just want to see how much I'm going to share based upon how much you share.
I will share. Hey, I'm an open book.
That's good. No,
I'm an open book, and I feel like that's the best way to learn. It's through mistakes, and I made plenty of them.
You find out how creative you can really be, don't you?
We'll talk about. Okay, all right. We'll get to the point now. Then,
yeah.
My whole goal of this is an outlet. I don't think I introduced myself to
you
the
haven't.
crowd.
You haven't.
I didn't.
I dominated the conversation as I tend to do. So, please, sir, take it away.
I'm the head brewmaster and lab tech of at bixi.beer, the 69th, I believe. Don't quote me on that. I believe we're the 69th brewery in Chicago.
Oh wow!
And the newest one.
Yeah, definitely.
As of right now.
As of right now, until next week. Yeah.
It has been. You talk about growing pains. When I had my first sit-down talk with Bo.
Yeah.
Bo and Arden, main owners. People they're going to be watching this will know about who we are. But my first sit-down conversation, I was not even married. Now I'm married with a kid. I have a 3-month-old at home.
Crazy.
You know.
How life has changed.
I say 3-month-old. 5-month-old. I'm sorry.
5-month-old.
I have a 5-month-old at home. Jesus.
You might want to edit that.
No, I won't because I make mistakes.
You want some of your own beer?
Yes. Here's a trick. I'm gonna drink this little rest of a little rinse.
You're so fancy.
Hit me up with my own beer, which is kind of a little. Drinking your own beer is kind of like tasting your failures now.
This is not a failure. This is delicious.
Thank you. So my intent and my background, people are gonna know. I don't need to be talking about my background here. But my intent when I decided to create this podcast was to give brewers in Chicago an outlet, or anywhere. And now, not only brewers, I'm going to have other people come in. We're going to be talking about other stuff.
That's cool.
But we will be talking about... It's an outlet with... I feel like every time that I talk with brewers, we bitch to each other.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Commiseration.
we just bitch to each other. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to create an outlet so we can really talk it out and talk about failures, things that went wrong, things that broke. By the way, breweries are very dangerous.
Oh, yeah.
They can be fatal as well. There's plenty of stories out there. The things that we're going to talk about is not to diminish anything that we're trying to do, but more like a learning curve and what not to do, because that's when you learn, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
And I had plenty of stories. I worked in several breweries, and I know other horror stories out there. And I'm gonna be having people here that would have even worse stories.
Well, yeah, and the great thing about this is obviously there's nothing more that can feel alienating than you're looking on social media, you're looking at these guys doing releases, and then you have a bad day at work, right? Things just went wrong. Beer didn't turn out the way you wanted it to. You're a little disappointed about something that haunts you, man. You think about it all night, and then you get on social media, you look at all your buddies, and they're doing stuff, and you're like, God, I suck. And then what you don't realize is behind that facade is just a whole lot of people fucking things up.
No. Yeah, and trying to find solutions.
Yeah, and then trying to find creative solutions. I remember I was talking to Roger Kuzelis over at Corridor one day, and I was telling him about this experience I had, and I was kind of reluctant to share it at first. And then I told him, I was like, look, Raj, I had this thing that I had happen, and I had to back blend this beer with another beer. I feel super embarrassed about it. He's like, oh, no. That's called fuckery. Oh yeah, I participate in fuckery often. He's like, it happens. Like, you have to. Like, what are you gonna do? Dump the beer? No, you're gonna save that beer. Like, and you're gonna make it taste great. And I was like, and ever since I heard him say that word, I was like, I got a little more confidence. I'm like, I can make things work as long as the beer's not like flawed in some like gross chemical way. You know, like if there's like a chemical compound that I hate, like diacetyl, DMS, something like that, where I really fucked up the actual brewing process, which I'd like to think I'm better than that. But if I did something like that, then obviously, then it's like, all right, you kind of have to cut your losses and dump it. But I don't know if it's something else. Like maybe it's just a slight misbalance. Yeah. Maybe you just like want something else. It's like, hell, the Belgians have been blending beer for a long time. You know, it's an age old tradition. So that was really cool. It was one of those first moments that really like connected me with the community, and I was like, oh, all right, it's gonna be good. Like we can kind of be like kind of like lean on each other for information and guidance, and know that it's not the end of the world, right?
Yeah,
it's okay.
Absolutely not the end of the world. And then as you were talking, I was thinking about I will be the first one. Actually, that's how it's going to start. I'm going to talk about.
Sure.
I'm going to start out easy and a little one. And when I was lived in Evansville, Indiana for a year.
Yeah.
It was my first brewing job after Siebel. And when I first came back from Germany, sent out a couple emails. It was very impressive how quickly how many people reach out to me just because of the school. And I was like, okay, I didn't have any hits in Chicago at the time, but I wanted to stay as close as I can to Chicago because my girlfriend at the time was my wife and mother of my child. I want to stay as close as I can, so I moved to Evansville, and I was coming to Chicago. It's a 5-hour drive. I was coming to Chicago every weekend.
Wow.
After shift, and at 5 o'clock, I would leave Chicago, be here in Chicago. Oh, I would leave Evansville and be here in Chicago at 10 o'clock at night. Yeah. And I would leave 2 o'clock in the morning on the Sunday and go straight to work.
Oh, no.
Yes.
Oh, no. That's a terrible way to start the day.
Straight to work.
Holy crap.
One time I got a ticket, and I was like 2 hours late for work.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. Well... But shout out to John Mills. He has his own brewery now in Evansville.
Cool.
Maiden. It's a brew pub. I was there when it was under construction. I believe he's open now. Yeah, Maiden.
Yeah, it's cool.
Anyway, so we had a big panel that controlled temperatures for all fermenters.
Yeah.
And it was this. I had to crash a beer.
Yeah.
Well, I crashed the wrong fermenter.
Whoops.
It was a day 2 fermentation.
Oh.
And then I crashed the wrong beer.
Oh no.
And that's a good $8,000, $10,000 in there.
Whoa! How big were the tanks?
40 barrels.
Oh yeah, that's why.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
God damn. Yep.
By the time I noticed.
Yeah.
My mistake. It was already at 38 Fahrenheit.
Yeah.
So I'm like, shit. I'm not. At that point, you kind of don't want to tell anybody. Just want to leave, right?
Right.
Because it was my fault.
Open the valve, walk away.
And my heart dropped a little bit. Yeah, I know. My heart dropped a little bit, and I was like, what the fuck am I going to do? So I came to John, and he was like, well, what if we warm up the beer? Like, that was his first thought. And I was like, yeah. I was like, run it through the heat exchanger and reverse the heat exchanger instead of running...
Whoa.
Instead of running...
Whoa.
Yeah, instead of running cold water, we run hot water. And recirculating the beer through the heat exchanger.
Ugh.
What the worst could happen? Yeah, it is scary.
That is scary. What's the worst that can happen? A lot can happen.
Don't do that.
There's so many things that can happen in that situation.
Well, we did it. I mean, give a shot. I mean, what worst could happen? We could try it.
Right. I mean, at least, at that point, the beer... The absolute worst is that you're gonna fail. Which you already, it's already like kind of dead. Yeah. Yeah, you're like I already fucked up. So if this happens, then I might have discovered a way to save a beer, or I just wasted some time. Which whatever.
We CIP before we did that. We CIP I kind of wanted to take apart the heat exchanger, and then really clean it. Yeah. Really clean it, but we don't have spare parts. And who here has ever taken a heat exchanger apart? There's a lot of gaskets in there, and it has to be in order.
Yep.
And so we ran hot water and recirculated in the fermenter up to fermentation temperature.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Did it work?
Yeah.
Shit, yeah. That's amazing.
We can take out anything too bad.
That's awesome.
But what could happen? Contamination, guys. in barrels. It will happen.
Yeah.
You get more oxygen pickup due to.
Yeah, for sure. You almost think like that early on in the process, though. It's maybe a little more forgiving than
A
the end of the
little
process.
bit, but contamination will be the main one because you're running beer through wort.
Yeah.
Where wort was, you don't want to be doing that, but we did it.
Yeah.
And we got away.
There you go. Did you guys go to that? Did you guys go to that fix right away, or did you have like other ideas before you got to that one? No, it was just that one right away.
The first.
Oh wow, that's pretty good. Yeah. My first instinct would probably be like, spray down the fermenter with like a hot hose. Probably try like a bunch of stuff that would make like less work for me first, and then eventually arrive upon that. But that's kind of brilliant, actually. Pretty good.
Now we know why I take things apart. I have to did it. Yeah.
I just disassembled my whole mash tun the other day. We were having some troubles with it, so
I
get it. Yeah, we have an 8-piece false bottom on it, and we've got these underlet jets. This is a pretty funny story, actually. So when we first got our brewing system put in place from LA Beverage, thanks to this guy named Victor, really awesome guy. Held my hand through the whole process. Old Goose Island brewer, actually, like one of the first hired Goose Island brewers ever.
Yeah.
Back in the '80s, and this guy, he's just old school, man. He's really funny. He's old school, works his tail off, And we were in the brew house, and it came to the day where we had to take off all the false bottom, and then face the underlet jets. Well, we ran into some problems. Like number one, the pieces of the false bottom were all numbered incorrectly. So he's organizing them by number instead of by how I'm handing them to them outside, the manway door. So those are all messed up. Then I get inside and he goes, "All right, man, what we're going to do, I'm going to turn on the underlet jets and I'm going to move the rakes at the same time. And you're going to just walk along the rakes while they're moving at you and you're going to face the underlet jets." And I said, "Victor, let me get this straight. You want to, in a wet environment with water coming in from the underlet jets, have the rakes on coming at me while I have to quickly face the underlet jets in a vortex motion?"
Okay.
And I was like, "No, I don't think so, dude." He's like, "This is how we've done it a million times in other places." I'm like, "What?" And so I ended up having to I just basically I pushed the rakes. I mean, you can push them; they move. Yeah. And so I faced the underlet jets. It took us forever to get the false bottom back on because we were kind of arguing about how it should go back and in what sequential order. So I was really reluctant on the latest to take the false bottom off. And I've talked to other brewers who have the same system. Like, I've never taken the false bottom off, and I was like, I need to. It's been a while, and so I took it apart. Just deep cleaned everything. It wasn't as bad as I thought it would be down there, but our brews have been running way smoother ever since I did it. And a bunch there was one underlet jet that was just apart underneath it, so I was able to reface all of them, make a really nice vortex for the cleaning cycles, and great now. So
you talked about when you have a small enough system, you can take it apart. You take it out I mean, I'm not even gonna talk. I already said there are bad design systems.
Oh yeah, for
out
sure.
there, and majority of them too. Especially when you see a recognizable brand out there, and you see something that it's not quite right. It's because the owner said, "We don't need that," and salespeople, they're saying, "Yep, sure, we'll do whatever to get this out."
Right, and all of a sudden it's missing key components that how can I trim off some money here? I mean, we actually got rid of our hopper for grain on the top of it because we're not milling in house right now.
Yeah.
So we're bringing in pre-milled grain and then dumping in through the manway door, and it did save us some money, but I mean there was just no way to hang it. Our roof couldn't handle the amount of weight that the hopper was for it. So I mean that was something we backed out on, but it wasn't really for the cost savings. It was more like, we can't have that.
Yeah.
And they were like, "You need it," and we're like, "No, we don't."
I'm talking about things like I've been a 20-barrel system that didn't have spray balls underneath the false bottom.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Good.
And how are we gonna do it? I mean, well, we had to take the false bottom every time we brewed.
Oh yeah.
The thing that we didn't have any rakes in them.
Oh,
it was a little bit easier, but you didn't have rakes in the 20-barrel system.
Yeah. That sucks.
I mean, for the ones listening, I'm just like,
my
eyes are wide open. I was like, wow. And those are not. Are those light?
What?
The false bottom. Are they light?
Oh no, they're heavy. Heavy as hell.
Heavy.
I mean, mine's in 8 pieces, and those individual pieces are heavy as hell.
You're talking about taking it apart every time you brew?
No way.
Give me a break.
Yeah, that'd be terrible. But we do what we have to do. It's like the big jobs, we do them. It doesn't matter. You just gotta put your. Gotta do it.
Yeah. Tell me about. Oh yeah, we have the same general contractor.
We do.
Too.
Mike Brick. Yeah.
Mike Brick. Shout out Mike Brick.
Epic Builders. Whoop whoop.
Yes, he built like something like 16 breweries in town, and
yeah, he's great. When we first opened up, there was things happening on the construction side where he kind of so he would do his things on this side, but then he would like kind of look over at the brewery and make sure the guys at the brewery were doing the things they needed to be doing. So the people who were actually putting in our equipment and like that, and so he oversaw all that, and he was amazing, kind of like keeping me in the loop. Great pitch on my floors, really awesome. Into my trench drains, awesome.
You got to be the first.
It's like a perfect pitch.
Okay, we're talking about like top from the top 5 things that brewers complain about the most.
Yeah.
Number 1 would be drains that don't drain.
Yep.
The pitch, you can see the water spots on the drain because it's like.
Yeah, before you know it, you're chasing water with a squeegee all around your brewery trying to get it down the drain. I've seen some breweries where the drain is actually elevated, so you have to like literally, squeegee liquid uphill. It's not fun.
Brilliant idea from Andreas Miller from Gray Central.
Yeah, I love that guy.
Great guy.
Yeah.
Friend of mine, he said, whenever I'm building a brewery, we're going to, before even pitching the floors, we are going to throw a bucket on the floor and see where the water's going to go. The drain's going to go right there. Whatever the water's going, that's where the drain's going.
Yep.
That's what he told me.
Amazing idea. Yeah, he's really smart, man. That guy has been through like hell and back. Like the breweries he's worked at.
Yeah.
Oh my god! And I think there was like one in Austria. He was telling me about that.
Australia.
Was it Australia?
Australia,
or was it
Austria? Or
okay.
Both.
I don't remember.
I know that.
I think this one was actually in Europe, but.
Andreas, you will be in this podcast
eventually.
Yeah. Eventually, and you got to specify where the hell you work at.
Yeah, I think it was. I can't remember which one it was, but he was telling me the amount of time he was working. He was like literally sick because he wasn't eating. He was so stressed out. He was working so hard. I'm like, I've never heard of someone with that kind of work ethic where it's like you're literally dying from working so hard. Like that dude is next level. He's I got a lot of respect for him, and his beers are awesome.
We'll have actually we only have 2 spots for gas beers.
Yeah.
So eventually, I want you to be there too.
Cheers, thank you.
But one of them right now, it's him.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Good beers, man.
It's like I want to we don't make money on our gas beers.
Right.
You come into the brewery to have whatever the brewery is.
Sure.
But this is community thing. Right. This is an outlet, so they can say, "Hey, my beer is there."
Yeah, that's awesome.
Community thing because
we don't really do that
because we like each other.
We do. We don't do that only because it's a space issue for us. Like the amount of beers I make and the amount of beers I have on tap, I don't have extra tap lines right now. It's crazy. I've tried to put some on, and then I feel bad because I'm like putting someone's stuff on, then I pull it off, then I put it on, then I pull it off, and I'm like, dude, I don't want to do that to anybody's beer. So if we do it, we'll have some packaged stuff around eventually, but we suck.
No.
I
don't drink my beers too much, but this tastes like peach.
It does taste like peach. Delicious.
Not too much though.
No, it's not. It's like it's very subtle, so it's just kind of on the background. Compared to modern beers, where it's like milkshake, lactose, vanilla. Don't get me wrong. I make those beers. I'll be completely honest, but I drink them.
I'll tell you one more.
Sure.
And this one happened at bixi. Horror story. And then when I was brewing for the first time, it was a little bit. When you're brewing in a new system for the first time, it's always chaotic.
Crazy, yeah. It's always chaos, yeah.
I was figuring out, so I don't have a mill. I write pre-milled, and you have to trust other people's mills.
And yeah, no, I'm with you.
I've been doing my diligence into reaching out of people and saying, hey, you gotta do this right, otherwise I can buy it from you.
Of course.
I depend on your mill, and it's not. I'm not even asking for free. I'm paying for the mill too.
Right.
But if you're not giving me what you're saying you're giving me,
right.
So I was working with this mill. They had both uncrushed and powder in the same bag.
Yep.
So what happened? I had floaties and a stuck lauter, which is like, whoa.
I've got a story after this that's gonna like make.
Oh, see, that's like when I start talking about the story,
it's gonna make your skin crawl. Wait.
So then I'm lautering, like I was like, I know it's gonna be a 3-4 hours. It's just not, and I cut the lauter, diluted water. Had to make a different beer.
Yeah.
Because I was not gonna hit that gravity.
Yeah.
I had to dilute the first runnings, and I had to get creative right now and then. And not even draining the lauter time. I couldn't even drain the lauter time.
Yeah.
So my idea was brilliant. That's a bixi, and which I have a very tiny brew house, like square footage, and it's amazing how much real estate, how much stuff we can put in that real estate.
Sure.
It looks very busy. But my brilliant idea was to crack the manway open just a little bit so I can drain through a different outlet.
Yeah.
Well, I tried to crack, and then it was like too heavy, and then the manway just.
Holy crap! We have the same story.
We had the same story.
We have the exact same story. The one I was going to tell you about that was going to make you the shiver is the exact same story. I'm not even
here.
But
you have
4 weeks ago.
Well, we have you have a bigger lauter time.
Yeah.
So probably twice as big as mine. You have a 20 barrel.
15 barrel.
15 barrel.
You're 10?
Yeah, I have a 10, but
ours is oversized to 20. I mean,
but the problem with mine is it's too narrow.
Yeah.
And my first time brewing, I overshot the recipe. I figured out the bottleneck of my system through the worst way possible. Mm-hmm. But
all of our opening beers, by the way, were 1.5% higher than they should have been. So
okay.
like we came out like our Kolsch was like 6.5%.
Oh Jesus Christ, that's too alcoholic, man.
Yeah, that was when we first opened.
Boozy.
They still tasted good. I mean, people liked them. I mean, I'm glad like no one, I got called out by a few brewer friends on the percentages, but people still dug them. I mean, we've obviously dialed everything in now, but when we first opened up, I was like, yep. Okay, so apparently I run 92% efficiency off my brew house. Holy crap, that's way higher than I could have anticipated.
I hit 94, 95.
Nice. That's good.
Pretty good. No, but it's just since it's narrow, like I can put anything more than 600 pounds of dry matter. My grain bed depth can be not higher than 1.5 foot, 2 foot.
Oh wow, crazy. Yeah, we were making I remember mashing this thing in, and I'm like looking at the bags as I have them open. I'm like, this looks really fine. I even grabbed it and looked at it, but water's running. I've already got a couple bags in there, and I'm like, all right, I got rice hulls in it, so I'm not like that concerned. I've got a lot of rice hulls in it because it's a hazy, and I'm like, and I start making it, feeling really uncomfortable, but I'm just like, let it go, and then we get it going, and I get a call from Andreas,
running that pump dry.
Yeah, and he's like, yeah, it's not moving anymore. So I come back, and I did like all my fixes. I ran some hot water in through the underlet jets to try and lift the bed, and try and clear out those things. I mean, I stuck my paddle in there, dude, and I scraped it off the bottom.
Yeah, you got a deep cut.
Yeah, and I mean, I went down there, I scraped the bottom, and it felt like paste. It was just paste at the bottom of the thing, and it was not moving at all. So that was our second turn for a 30 barrel batch, and I was able to pull on a very, very slow lauter of like maybe I think I got a grand total barrels on. I can't remember what the number was, but when we're all said and done, I've still got this mostly full mash tun, right? So I've got my sparge water on top of the bed, and everything's full. So I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna crack the manway door a little bit. Keep it connected and just let some stuff drain out. And of course, when I crack it, I mean, that's a ton of weight. I mean, probably more than a ton technically. Yeah. And so like first I'm starting to slide backwards. I'm like sliding across the floor while this door is opening. Andreas comes up behind me. He's holding the door closed, and we're just like trying our best. And it's just around the manway door, down the man, and the whole floor is just getting covered in mash. And I think the GM came by, Brennan. He's like, "What is happening here?" I'm like, "We're trying a new technique. It's called floor mashing."
At least you got
yeah. I mean, it was the worst day. I mean, we were taking snow shovels and we were literally shoveling mash in dumpsters that we had pulled up to the back door.
Do you remember how many pounds of dry malt you had in there?
That had to have been right around 1,300 pounds.
Yeah,
of dry malt.
Well, it had I had 450, 500. By the way,
yeah,
almost triple.
yeah,
almost tripled. So.
Yeah, it was a bad day. It was, and it's so defeating, right? Like,
yeah.
And I called up the company that we got it from, and I was like, listen, like, I think you guys are having some trouble with your mill. This is like, it was way finer when I went in. I don't have this problem often. I was like, there's something wrong with the mill, and they're like, oh no, we've got the diagnostics here, and you're like, sure you do. The grain definitely looked different the second time I had to brew that beer because I had to rebrew it. I still actually took all the wort and everything and still like made the beer through the end, and it wasn't right. Like it was very different, and that was even more defeating because I was like, I'm gonna ride this out. I'm gonna make the beer all the way through. I'm gonna do the dry hopping. I'm gonna do everything and see how it turns out. And it wasn't where we needed it. It's
good because they companies like that they don't own it. They don't own their mistakes. If it happens,
I wish they would, because then I could diagnose the problem and know exactly where the problem was.
Yeah.
So I don't make the same mistake again. Is it my recipe? Did I have too much protein? Like, but if they're not going to tell me what's up with the mill, that's why you have an in-house mill.
Yeah.
That's why, because you can test it, you can sift it, you can actually see the breakdown of how your grain is ground, and
there you
can't
go.
do that with them. I mean, I can get one and then just do it for them, but it's not the same if you're taking out of a bag, because obviously things are going to separate.
Yeah.
So.
Lesson learned, though. Wait around. Don't open your manway in your mash tun. just don't.
Let it drain slow.
It happened to both of us. They had the same story. Right. So no, let's just go home. Don't.
We can make quick work of this, and I mean, we try to keep it light in the brew house. So I always tell the guys, it's like, we're making beer.
Yeah.
Like, don't take the stuff home with you. Don't take it too hard. We're making, and I feel pretty good about the work that we do. So when we have these like rare instances. Things happen. I mean, very rare. It's one of those things you got to take it and you just not let it defeat you. Because if you did, you're just not built for this industry. What is this one that we're drinking, by the way?
Am I gonna get to talk about my beers?
What?
So that's our thing. I feel like that's our thing. That's the Chelonian layer. Chelonian is a species of turtle, by the way.
Didn't know that.
Yeah.
That Matt.
It's the layer of the turtle, and it's a
Did
dark.
You say turtle at first?
Yeah,
the layer of the turtle.
Hey, like English is not my first language, man.
I know.
Actually, I don't have any first language because my Portuguese sucks.
Yeah, you have the most unique accent I've ever heard in my life. You also sound like you might have spent some time in Boston. Like, I don't even know.
Maybe I like Mark Wahlberg too much.
There you go.
Hey,
how you doing? That's my Mark Wahlberg.
That's not.
Thank you so much.
That
was perfect. It was perfect. Everyone listening at home, that was a perfect Mark Wahlberg impression. Welcome.
This is a simple Szechuan peppercorn.
Yeah.
It's
just Szechuan peppercorn. Are there any spices in here?
No, that's it.
It's reminiscent of ginger. Reminds me of when I brewed
It is a little bit gingery
before. Yeah.
And the malt bill is super simple. There's some Pils malt. Shout out for Rar too. Old World Pils malt.
Ooh, Rar?
Old World.
Oh,
Pils
really?
Malt. It's a low DP Pils.
Oh, right on. I've never used their Pilsner malt. But I'm pretty dedicated to Weyermann. To be honest.
It's pretty good.
I love Weyermann.
I like Weyermann too.
Yeah, but Rar is local. I mean, that's a little bit better. You get keeping it closer.
A little bit of that Szechuan, not Szechuan. That midnight wheat from Breeze, and a little bit of cherry wood smoke from Breeze as well.
Nice.
And the Patagonia, from all crystal malts.
Mm-hmm.
Patagonia is one of my favorites.
Oh, Patagonia is great.
C70.
Chile.
Yeah, C70. That's it. 4 malts. And I use a bittering hop.
Nice.
And that's it. And then a little bit of Szechuan peppercorn. On this recipe, we're talking about a 8-9 barrel yield of finished product. I'm doing a pound pistachio and peppercorn.
Oh, wow, it's tasty. I haven't made a smoke beer yet. I've been thinking about doing like a Grodziski or something like that, but we have a wood fire grill here at OIB, and so all of our meats come off of this wood fire grill. So we're always stoking the flames, and we have this big, beautiful rack that goes off on top of it. And I was thinking about creating something where I could actually, like, while they're cooking throughout the night, like throw some malt on this rack that would hang and just like let it like collect all the smoke from the foods.
What kind of smoke you're getting?
Well, I mean, it's like I think we use like a blend of mesquite, like applewood or something like that. But it's really lovely smelling. Like, because obviously since we have the vents on this side for the kitchen, it comes right over into my kettle. So like like when I'm like CIPing tanks, I'm building caustic or acid or something. I'll have the door open, and of course it's just like perfect ventilation, just bringing those smells over. I'm like, man, that might be kind of nice in a beer, because it's like I just love the smell of it. So yeah, something smoky like that. Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
But you know how everybody has their thing.
Yeah.
And
actually, one of our sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, no,
but one of our baker is actually from One Engine, the sister restaurant to Bixi.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's One Engine's old baker. So
he
makes all of our bread in house. The interesting cat, Eric. I'm actually thinking of making a sour for him, because he's kind of got he's a little intense.
Do you guys do brunch here?
We do.
That's a stupid question. Everybody
Saturday, yeah, I mean, you kind of have to, but yeah, we do brunch on Saturdays and Sundays.
That's nice.
11 a.m. every day. It's cool. I like brunch crowds, man. It's there's some people, like, we have like these yoga classes they'll do yoga.
Where do you do it over here?
Uh-huh. Like some of them, if they're big enough, will do it in here. They'll do it in the game room. We haven't had one in a while, but come in, they'll do yoga, and then they'll flip right around and have some brunch afterwards.
This actually sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
Like, I'm the one who jokes about, like, why yoga in a brewery? I'm the one, like, no.
I don't know why either, but it is a perfect, like, kind of open space, and plus the way we have our speakers, they can have like their music and everything else, and they can program it and all that stuff, so they can like really make their own environment.
Yeah.
It's just a cool place to do it, and then you have like a cool activity afterwards. So I think for the yogi, they have just like, it kind of changes things up a little bit. Studio.
Back to your baker real quick.
Yeah.
I'm not a baker.
No, me neither.
Put that
I like to bake though, but I'm not a baker.
But I do run a small yeast lab at the brewery.
Yeah, you do. I've heard about that. I've seen pictures of it. I haven't seen.
And I isolate things, and I make things happen.
You gotta let me come in and stash.
Please.
I want to come in. I want to come in and learn about that stuff.
Please.
It'd be so good for me and Andreas, because we eventually would like to.
Yeah.
Go and propagate our own and all that stuff. So
please.
I don't know a ton about it.
Yeah. It's more than welcome. Cool. But I've been meaning to extend the reach to. I know that bakers try to out there already try to brew with or bake with brewer's yeast.
Yeah.
And they complain about the rising.
Oh yeah, sure.
There's a name for that though. There's a name that bakers use. Is that it?
Leavening, yeah. It's like kind of like the way it basically.
Well, you're a chef too.
Creates
so
like the CO2 within the bread.
Yeah.
And so you get like kind of like more. They call it airy, but it's not airy. It's actually the CO2 that's actually growing from the fermentation, right? So yeah, and I mean,
I feel like
there's so many great yeast, like a Belgian yeast.
Well, I've baked.
Delicious.
I've baked with beer yeast with several different species.
Nice. What do you think was the best brewer's yeast to bake with? Like, what gave you the best results in your opinion?
Saccharomyces urvarum, which is primarily that. So we have genus Saccharomyces is a genus, urvarum is the species, and then you have the strains.
Right.
After that, urvarum is very interesting as far as flavor.
Yeah.
And complete texture, very different. So you're not getting the rising, you're not getting the inflation of. Sure. Can I say the dough inflates?
Sure.
Can I use that?
Fine. Yeah.
Can I use that?
Hell yeah.
But it's just a little perfumey, and it's a little bit more chewy.
Yeah.
It's not as crumbly. Yeah. And I've used the French the making a French bread technique, and that worked out great.
I love French bread.
That was one of my favorite results.
Cool.
I also use non-Saccharomyces, which is, for example, the Hefeweizen yeast. It's a non-sac yeast.
Right.
It's a Torulaspora actually. It has been the Brucia. It used to be Saccharomyces brucii, it has changed into a completely different genus. The real spore, the
so
brucii.
Everyone listening to this knows this is the time when me and Eymard hang out, and he just like starts like talking way
I'm naming things.
But I always learn something when I hang out with him. But like, you have to understand this dude, and I don't know a lot of people know he's kind of on another level with science. I just want to put that out there.
No,
this is great.
It's well, to rule. Think about it. It produces primarily takes ferulic acid. That is a precursor of 4-VG, the 4-vinyl glycol, that clovey smell. It needs an extra enzyme. That extra gene.
What was that? What did you say produces the clovey again? 4-vinyl glycol.
4-vinyl guaiacol.
4-vinyl glycol.
That's where you interpret as clovey, as a spice. It's a phenol.
And what temperature does that happen at, like during fermentation?
So
what is it?
This is the rule of thumb when you're talking about fermentation of. We're talking about hefeweizens, right?
Right.
And warmer, you get more esters. Colder, you get phenols, kind of thing.
Yeah, but
where they mask.
Right, with hefeweizens though, like some temperature, you almost get up to like a flat, like what I consider flabby, right, from the wine world. Like when you get like that, like super, like almost rotten banana flavor, that high.
Oh, I got so much of that.
Yeah, but if you ferment like a little bit lower than that, I noticed that like rotten banana flavor kind of like goes away, and then you get like this really lovely baking spice clovey thing, and a hint of banana.
Yeah,
and like there's definitely like, and it's only a few degrees away from each other where it can go either crazy ripe banana or nice and brilliant clovey, nice. And also
isoamyl acetate. That's the.
I am allergic to isoamyl acetate.
Ooh. Well, that's
fun fact.
It
took me a
not
lot
fun.
Of,
not fun. It's just a fact.
It's just a fact. It's a fun fact for people watching. Everyone loves a horror show. I when I was a little kid, I remember I was a swimmer, so I'd eat bananas all the time.
Yeah.
And that was even knowing I was like had a little allergy when I was younger, and then I ate them for like a month, and everything was fine. Last day of that month, I was eating one like I did every morning, and I had a full-on like anaphylaxis. And they told me like, like 10 more minutes and I would have died. So I was like, all right, no more bananas, obviously. Got the epinephrine shots, keep those around. Fast forward to Trevor in Chicago, Haymarket, just excited, so excited. I dashed down the road for Pete Carley's beer.
When was that?
That was when did it open? That had to be like, God, man,
I moved to Chicago in 2013.
2013? I think it opened right around that time, if I remember correctly, because I got here in 2009. I graduated in 2011, and then it wasn't long after that. But I'd have to look at my phone because I rely on my phone for all knowledge. But when he opened up, man, I was so pumped. And I was drinking, he made a lot of the Belgian IPAs and stuff like that. I started drinking these. Every time I was done, I would complain to my girlfriend at the time, who's now my wife. Yo, why does my throat itch? This reminds me of bananas. And it took me forever to figure it out. And finally, I realized it was like isoamyl acetate. So not only am I allergic to banana, I'm allergic to artificial banana flavoring.
Well, but the isoamyl acetate was isolated from bananas.
Exactly. And on top of that, they said, the doctors told me a long time ago, is the protein from bananas.
Okay.
So, I think they were just, I don't know if they're misguided or what it was, but like.
No, just back to the genus. So Terulispora has it's only right that we will categorize something differently.
Right.
So since it has an extra gene that produces an extra enzyme that will take up ferulic acid and convert into or change into a 4-vinyl glycol, it's only normal that we will change its taxonomy. How we call them.
Yeah.
So when I say non-sac, is anything that it's not Saccharomyces.
Got it.
So Terulispora, it's one of them.
That's cool.
And I did a bread with them.
Oh, that's pretty rad.
That's one of the things that the bakers complain a lot. Is just how much it rises, but it has to do with the activity.
Sure.
You don't want to be using temperature, but primarily the activity. You want to make sure that the yeast is active, very, 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 very active. So it
make a starter.
Yes.
Yeah.
There we go. Just make them. That's why I want to reach out to other bakers too.
Sure.
I can cater. I can get it to the caterers, It's like what do you want?
Right. Yeah.
Oh, I tried to brew beer. I tried to bake bread with brew yeast. It didn't work for me. I was like, well, hold on. let's make that work. I can give you an array of different things that you can achieve, but just by doing that.
I got a stir plate. I got some Erlenmeyer flasks. Let's do this.
Just come into my lab and I'll let you see things under the microscope.
Cool. I love that. Yeah. Yeah, I got to work for a little bit in the lab at BrewDog, which was just amazing. It was like the most intricate, amazing brew lab I've ever seen. And yeah, I got to do like yeast cell counts and things like that, and kind of calculate pitching and whatever else. And it was I didn't spend a lot of time in there, but I spent enough time to like learn some.
That's awesome.
It was great. I can't wait to start kind of building out my own lab here pretty soon, because as we go out into distribution, we're gonna have to buy some things. I got to get a good quality control program in house. So
look no further. I will help you.
That's awesome. I think between you and Lance Shaner down at Omega Man, I think I'm set. Like it's like I got the two brightest guys in the industry. So.
I gotta meet that guy too. I haven't met those guys in Omega.
Dude, you and him are gonna freaking nerd out. Like you guys are just like like no one else is gonna understand. Eventually, I think you guys will be speaking Klingon to each other.
No. All right, we're getting close to our hour here.
Oh, okay, that went fast.
It's time for beer chats. Bon, bon, bon. No,
don't do it. That was the hazy beer of radio, I think.
I just want to appreciate Trevor a lot, and let him come by and just have a little open chat. And this is what I want to do. I just want to have this outlet and a little chat and make this public.
Oh yeah, totally. I love it. It's a cool show. I'm glad to be involved, and you're doing great stuff, man.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Can you high five? Yep. There you go. That was a good high five.
That was a good one.